only interviewed him for less than 4 minutes and still managed to shoehorn a question related to Israel. Lol. That interview was edited like Jeffrey Epstein's prison video, blaming the government shutdown on a New York City mayoral candidate. Lol. This interview is so short, it feels like CNN felt obligated to do it. Looks like Anderson Cooper is less interested in Mamdani's answers, more interested in labeling him in a certain way. CNN is promoting the billionaires and Andrew Cuomo's agenda. Mamdani's great. Horrible interview by Cooper. Anderson Cooper, AIPAC. Is fascinating. Any form of leadership in the U.S. appears to require loyalty to Israel. Nice try, CNN. So you had him on for 30 seconds to try and humiliate him. It's over. And no one cares about this last-minute hit job. Props to Mamdani for standing his ground. Absolute trash journalism. God damn.
If you need an incentive to vote today, as we're approaching the mayoral election, the Board of Elections will be handing out these Halloween-themed voting stickers. Even after turnout cooled a bit yesterday because of the rain, it's still running way ahead of where it was 4 years ago. We told you that 2 recent polls paint a picture of an impending Zohran Mamdani romp. Well, Mamdani attended, appropriately, a paint and pour event with seniors in Brooklyn yesterday. The 2 polls show him leading former Governor Andrew Cuomo by 16 and 25 percentage points, respectively. Republican Curtis Sliwa is in 3rd place in both, though he's nipping at Cuomo's heels in one of them. What do these surveys mean? Depends, of course, on whom you ask.
Polls give us a snapshot in time. It's great when there's a good one. It's, we look past it when there's a bad one, but really all they are a prediction. It's up to us to actually win this race.
I think the polls have no idea what they're talking about because they have never seen this kind of turnout before.
I don't believe any of the polls. I believe the people because I'm in the streets, I'm in the subways.
Cuomo appeared with Mayor Eric Adams, who's endorsed him, in Harlem. The 2 fought back against accusations that Cuomo has leveled Islamophobic attacks against Mamdani. For instance, a super PAC supporting Cuomo funded this ad that shows the words "Jihad on NYC" over Mamdani's picture. Cuomo says Mamdani is the divisive one, and what's more, his ideas cannot become reality.
Yeah, it sounds good. Flying buses, free food, freezing, rents. It's all untrue. It is all untrue. He has no plan, and he has no ability or experience to accomplish anything in this city.
Not only has former Mayor Mike Bloomberg endorsed Cuomo, but he has also pumped millions into helping him get elected. $8 million in the primary and recently $1.5 million to a pro-Cuomo super PAC. Both Sliwa and Mamdani, though, sound unfazed by the former mayor's support for Cuomo.
As Taylor Swift says, I've seen this film before, but unlike she says, we actually like the ending.
What a waste of money, Bloomberg. And again, the billionaires don't get it.
Through 6 days of early voting, turnout is running more than 4 times what we saw 4 years ago. So turnout really has been the story so far. Early voting will...
Controversial, crazy lock with very little evidence-based beyond vibes. Are you ready? I think the older voter turnout is also going to favor Zohran Mamdani. Not like by massive margins or anything, but I think there are a lot more older people that are turning out for Mamdani than we think. I think that there are aunties and unks that have never been successfully polled or correctly polled in previous elections due to their lack of performance, especially on the Asian demographics. I have a suspicion that not only do I think Zohran's going to win, but I think it's going to be, inshallah, over 50% of the vote. And I think a part of the reason why the polls are looking inconsistent with what I'm saying here is because of older people that are going to be voting for Zohran that are not getting weighed appropriately because of the demographics that they are getting polled from.
Will continue through Sunday. Of course, Election Day is Tuesday.
Robert, thank you. Now,
last weekend of the political battle over who will be the next mayor of New York. The 3 candidates verbally jousting with their opponents and trying to convince those who haven't yet used early voting to vote for them. An especially tight group of voters, those over the age of 45. A dead heat right now in that category between Mamdani and Cuomo. Should be an interesting weekend to be sure. Here's NJ Burkett.
Zohran Mamdani tried his hand at Tai Chi with seniors on the Lower East Side, continuing his attempt to reach out to older voters.
Now is the time to deliver an affordability agenda for seniors who are being pushed out of the city they call home.
When it comes to seniors and middle-aged New Yorkers, Mamdani is essentially tied with Andrew Cuomo among voters the former governor desperately needs. A major finding in the Marist poll that shows Mamdani with a big lead overall. Cuomo campaigned with conservative Russian immigrants in Brighton Beach. Among them, Inna Vernikov, a Republican city councilwoman who's no longer endorsing Curtis Sliwa.
You see what I mean? You see what I'm saying? That they're in a deadlock in and of itself. And the one demographic that Andrew Cuomo has to do LeBron numbers on makes me feel like it's actually better for Zohran than we even think. It makes me feel somewhat vibes based, but it makes me feel like the plus 55, maybe even probably not plus 65, but the plus 55 is going to surprise people. Because right now, when you look at some of the past poll performance, the plus 55 is like Andrew Cuomo margin within the margin of error over Zohran, right? That's what it shows. But I think it's actually better for Zohran than we think. I think Zohran's going to win plus 55. And I think a part of that is going to be from the unks and aunties. The Muslim aunts and aunties are going to come out in ways that they normally don't.
Goal right now is to beat Mamdani. And in this election, the only one who could beat Mamdani is Governor Andrew Cuomo.
What I'm trying to do is put together a coalition of Democrats, Republicans, independents, to really come together and let's say we are New Yorkers first. And this is an existential threat to New York City.
A super PAC supporting Cuomo is running this bleak ad.
But right now, New York is being torn apart. Zohran Mamdani's socialist agenda would make it worse.
And Cuomo himself is posting this cartoon in social media. Sliwa today ridiculed both men. Mamdani, he said, will bleed the city's taxpayers.
He is clearly Dracula, the vampire, and we see Andrew Cuomo is clearly the political zombie who's come back from the dead.
I love when you describe the meme. That's awesome.
Given the state of the race, do you think Kung Fu would have been better?
I continue to be confident, but will never get complacent.
The fact is, Mamdani may be more worried now about complacency than Cuomo, especially when it comes to his youngest voters. At City Hall, NJ Burkett, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
This Sunday, I'm running. We're all running to do something that's never been done before. To set a new record, to enter the history books. Just not at the marathon, because my 12-minute, 54-second mile is... We're gonna do it at the doors. The current record for the most doors knocked in a single day in New York history was 200,000. That wasn't by one campaign. It was by every campaign up and down the ballot across the entirety of the state. We want to shatter that record this Sunday, right here across the 5 boroughs with all of you. 3,500 volunteers have already signed up for shifts. With 3,000 more, we could do what's never been done. So,
bro, this gamifying campaign, the gamifying the campaign stuff, like the get out the vote initiatives and gamifying of like canvassing operations is so brilliant. Like I'm not a nerd that cares about stuff like this that much, but god damn, it's smart. Like these are brilliant get out the vote initiatives, man. The team, I feel like that aspect of the team doesn't get as much recognition because like everyone focuses on the media side, and the media side is great. This is a real stars are aligning moment, honestly. Great canvas operation, great social media, charismatic candidate, and all of it is centered around a phenomenal policy platform. I think people are going to try to redo this route, regardless of their ideological convictions, for campaigns all across the country. And you will see many hilarious failures from establishment Democrats that are like 854 years old that try to do similar things and fail spectacularly. But I think this is a dramatic, game-changing campaign. If Democrats are not paying close attention to this, which they are, I know that they are. Wait, what is this? Cuomo has stopped naming you. Yesterday on ABC, he referred to you as a colleague. He doesn't want people to Google you anymore. Wait, what happened? Wait, what happened? Bro, he was giving me a new audience every day. What happened? Is it because people were Googling Hasan Piker and then the shit that was coming up was like a New York Times profile? Is that why? Leading people to perhaps not consider me to be this ever-present danger to New York?
Inflammatory remarks that we have. You have to be very careful as a leader not to inflame divisions. So he calls the NYPD, for example, racist and wicked and corrupt. President Barack Obama, evil and a liar. He won't denounce globalized intifada, which is kill Jewish people. We have the largest Jewish population in New York outside of Israel. And these are very inflammatory remarks. He has a colleague who he associates with that says, America deserved 9/11.
No, he just realized it's not a smart. I don't like how much your name is out there. It seems more like he's modulating his message for the ABC Normie audience by not naming you. No, it's partially because it's easier for him to say, as a colleague who said America deserved 9/11, than it is to say Hasan Piker, an unknown entity, that if people actually search, they will find out is not this like dangerous radical by mainstream outlets. You know what I mean? Because like, remember, old people are going to look this up and they're going to look at like the New York Times or some shit. And when they look at the New York Times, they're going to see me like be talked about as in positive terms. Yeah. Or on GQ or on any number of different like mainstream media outlet.
America deserved 9/11. Two New Yorkers who we lost 3,000 people on 9/11, 150,000 people suffering from 9/11 related illness. That is a terrible thing to say, you know. That's what I'm referring to when I say he doesn't get the New York value system.
On a recent radio show, you brought up 9/11. What if another 9/11, God forbid, were to happen on Mamdani?
Cooked. Michael from Pennsylvania says, dude, some billionaire is obsessed with you. You got to watch out, brother. It's not one. Elon Musk, Palmer Luckey, Bill A. Packman. Could be any number of different wealthy people. So, anyway, what's funny about that was Eddie from Steak. Andrew Cuomo constantly hitting that line was so unimaginably dumb that he had to drop it. And I guess it's like better for him to just be like, oh, he's a colleague that said this. But even then, he cooked himself because he went on the conservative Sid Rosenberg's radio show like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, where he said Zohran is going to, or 2 weeks ago, where he says Zohran, like he agreed with the statement that his conservative show host said that Zohran would actually cheer on another 9/11. It's over. After that point, you can't bring up 9/11. It's over at that point. Like, you're cooked. Everyone in the media is going to be like, okay, you're bringing up 9/11, but like you're saying Zohran would cheer on 9/11. So then his argument is, oh, well, don't hold me responsible for what my host says. Okay, then why are you holding Zohran responsible for a media hit that he did when he was polling at 5% with a progressive Twitch streamer that didn't bring up 9/11 at all? Cuomo created his own dumbass 9/11 scandal, so it's just like cooked him even harder.
Watch. The radio host then said he would cheer. You responded and chuckled and later said you didn't take it so seriously at that time. But how do you respond to the Muslim New Yorkers who were offended by that and described that your reaction as Islamophobic?
Well, the Muslim community didn't say that. I was just endorsed by major leaders of the Muslim community. What I was saying is he is
Do you think they might turn you away from Zohran's victory party like they did Sneeko because of all of his bad press? Brother, I don't know if you know this, but I was at the rally last week. Are you okay? Bro, stop eating. It's annoying. Yeah, well, it's almost done. Don't worry. Also, you're comparing me to Sneeko, who has literally denied the Holocaust. The attacks against me are smears. He, on the other hand, has aligned himself with straight up neo-Nazis like Nick Fuentes and whatnot, and has even denied the Holocaust. I think it's a little crazy to try and make a comparison like this one, especially considering that half of the door knockers are from this community, and including canvas leads. What do you mean?
He is inexperienced, right? This is basically if he wins as mayor, it's basically his first job. He was a rapper, an assemblyman for 2 terms. He only passed 3 bills, and he was absent more than anyone else. So being mayor is a complicated job. It's 300,000 employees. It's a $115 billion budget. And it is a situation where on any given day, you can deal with any unknown crisis. There's a difference between an executive position and a legislative position. You know, if you're a state legislator, you vote.
The question was, people say you're Islamophobic for saying Zohran would cheer on another 9/11.
If you're not running the marathon, or you're not like me and you can finish the marathon without having to go to the medical tent, sign up for a shift at zohranfornyc.com/GOTV. Let's make history, one door at a time.
We're now 5 days from Election Day and the biggest mayoral.
Didn't you say 2 days ago that you're not going to New York before China? I was planning on not going to New York before China because I have so many different I have so many days where I'm away from home, and I hate that. But I reconsidered it because I feel like it's a important moment in history to be a part of. Like I literally was like, I was weighing it, and I was thinking like, oh, if I stay home and I can watch the victory party here, it's fine. I can probably even do better content from home as opposed to being there, because if I'm there, then it's like there's an issue with like streaming and then IRL streaming, desktop. Like I'll still have a desktop stream on election day, make no mistake. But bro said I want to be in the photo law. No, dude, I don't give a fuck about that. You're so stupid. How is this hard to comprehend? It's like a historically important fucking moment where you're electing only the second socialist mayor of New York, and this community, myself included, played a pretty formative role in that. God damn, brother, I am such an on-camera monkey for all of you. I swear to God, where it's like I can't have any sort of real human feelings about any sense of accomplishment without immediately being like, ah, oh, yeah, dude. Holy shit. It's just so lame. Yesterday, Chaz said that lately you're being brought up on daily federal record. This is not to insist on the Joe Rogan or the left stuff or anything, but it is clear you're becoming some kind of critical point. Even when you repeatedly say you are not, what now? Or do you disagree? It's becoming harder and harder for me to disagree with that sentiment. The problem is the more attention there is on me as like a fixture of left politics in this country, the more annoying the left gets, the more annoying the right wing gets, the far right gets. The only people that actually look at that and listen positively are unironically liberals, as a matter of fact. And not the liberal content creators who have their own sense of anger and resentment towards whatever kind of success, whatever kind of modest success I've been able to cultivate here. But I'm talking like the actual Barbers and the Debras. Like they see stuff like that and they go, "Oh, a handsome young man. Let's tune in. Let's see what his opinions are." Having said that, however, it has increased. The attacks have increased fairly aggressively, and it sucks, especially because there is no left support system. There is some. There are those, you know them. I mean, Michael from Pennsylvania is in the chat right now. But the unfortunate reality is that there is no robust support network for things like this. When you get singled out like this, you just kind of are on your own. You have some friends, they will defend you, but there is no like major, there is never going to be any major sea of support. And anyone and everyone that comes out, even in defense of someone like myself against ridiculous attacks, smears, slander, whatsoever, they will also be punished ruthlessly. Like they will be smeared as well. Like there is a very threatening environment for those who dare to speak out against the wave of right-wing sentiment on the internet. Or at least that's what it feels like. But that's also precisely the reason why I love being outside. I love being around normal people. I love being around others who are not as extremely online, because I am reminded over and over again that in the real world, none of these considerations take place. Like it's not a real consideration at all. And that's precisely the reason why, or at least that's partially the reason why I chose to go to the Election Day event.
Race in the country that could upend all conventional wisdom in the three-way race. There's Democratic Socialist candidate Zohran Mamdani, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, who's running as an independent, and Republican candidate Curtis Sliwa. All of them have been busy crisscrossing the city campaigning. A new Marist poll out today of likely New York City voters show Mamdani with 48% over Cuomo's 32% and Sliwa's at 18%. Now, the stakes are high if Mamdani is elected. President Trump has threatened to withhold federal funding for the city and deploy National Guard troops here, as he's done or pledged to do in other Democratic-led cities like Washington, D.C., Chicago, and Portland. For months, the president has often gone after Mamdani.
We have a communist who's 33 years old, doesn't know a damn thing. Practically, he's never worked a day in his life. And he sort of caught on, right? And I'm not going to send a lot of money to New York. We're not going to ruin one of our great cities, because we'll make that great. We will clean up the crime in about 30 days. And all of these cities, we want to clean them up. We don't like that opposition. But if somebody's going to be a communist mayor of New York, it's a fluke if he gets in.
Well, earlier today, I spoke with the Democratic nominee, New York Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani. Recently, you heard President Trump suggest he's going to withhold federal funding, possibly send in National Guard troops if you're elected. Andrew Cuomo has kind of amplified that. What do you say to New Yorkers who say, is this worth the hassle of losing perhaps?
That's a crazy way to start this interview. That is okay, bro. I thought he didn't take such a Vanderbilt-ass position from the start. I thought he would have been somewhat woke. Nope. He just straight up said, hey, I know the president is doing something unprecedented by trying to change the outcome of a local election in the state of New York. But don't you think there's some validity? Let me advance the cynical pattern. Like, it's understandable that you bring that up, right? But that's not how you're supposed to bring that up. You would probably bring that up by being like, how much has this very obvious electioneering impacted your own personal confidence in the race? Something along those lines. You know what I mean? Not like, don't you think New Yorkers should be concerned that if you become president of socialism, then the president of capitalism will come and kill New Yorkers? That's crazy.
A lot of money in federal funding if you become the mayor.
We're already seeing this as a reality with Eric Adams as the mayor, right? The federal administration took $80 million out of city coffers. They suspended $50 million for our city schools. And then they threatened to withhold $18 billion in infrastructure grants. And the most effective way to push back on his threats is to actually name them for what they are and then use every tool at your disposal to take them on.
So what do you do if he decides? I mean, we already saw there was an ICE action on Canal Street. They said they were targeting undocumented immigrants who were, selling counterfeit bags, which on Canal Street is kind of, there's a long history of that, obviously. What do you do?
I think this is an example of what is unacceptable in this country. I think the first thing that you do is you close the door that Eric Adams opened to the NYPD doing civil immigration enforcement. He said that on national television. The second thing you do...
So you would not allow the New York Police Department to engage Or to cooperate with ICE or DHS?
Not in civil immigration enforcement.
Yep. That's in the law, by the way, Anderson. That's the law. That's not just the state law. That's the city law, too. Just because Eric Adams had his literal freedom dangled in front of him to allow this to happen doesn't mean that anyone else who doesn't have those same circumstances is going to continue it. It's bullshit. Remember, this is so against the grain and so new and unique that Donald Trump and his Department of Justice had to use the existing criminal investigation into Eric Adams and his potential freedom to literally get this done. And Eric Adams has actually been in violation of the law to actually allow the NYPD to work alongside ICE.
We have sanctuary city laws where we've made very, very clear that for a set of serious crimes, there is coordination with the federal administration. But anything beyond that, I think 172 crimes that are listed, that is something for the NYPD to focus on purely right here in New York City.
Leading Republicans are trying to make you, in some ways, the new face of the Democratic Party. I'm sure you heard what Speaker Mike Johnson said. He essentially blamed you, at least indirectly, for the ongoing government shutdown. I just want to play what he said.
They're worried about the radical left base that is rising in the Democrat Party, and some of the leading politicians here, including the two New Yorkers who run both chambers, Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, are afraid they're going to get a challenge from a...
By the way, I don't think these guys understand what kind of promotion this does for Zohran Mamdani, because the liberal wine moms that are watching CNN are thinking, oh my God, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are actually doing something and I like it, right? And then now you have the leader of the opposition saying they are motivated to do something that you like if you're a liberal wine mom, a Barbara and a Deborah, because of this brown boy, okay? That is massive national recognition for the Democratic base. And there is some truth to it. I mean, obviously, that's not the entire reason. Liberals have been very pissed off. Liberals have been very pissed off about this situation for a while now. The inaction from the institutional Dems. So Zohran is just another example of what could happen. You know, if there is some ambition, what could happen if you have a little bit of dynamism, right? So that definitely helps. But the resistance liberals wanted the resistance way before this shit. So when you, leader of the opposition, put the blame on Zohran, that looks really good. Yeah, this is Hakeem Jeffries
Halloween.
on CNN.
Donald Trump should put on a costume and pretend to act like a president, at least on this day.
God, he's so hot. Oh my God, he's so hot, dude. Zohran is stealing your thunder. This man is everywhere, bro. This man is everywhere. He's doing everything. What is this man doing? Oh, I saw this on Unholy Podcast. Friedland asked Hillary Clinton if she'd vote for Zohran Mamdani. Oh, hell yeah. They want Zohran to win. This is what you do, okay? Let's finish this video, but after that, we'll look at Hillary Clinton doing an anti-endorsement, which, by the way, is better than a Hillary Clinton endorsement because we all know Hillary Clinton endorsement is a death sentence for a campaign. No matter how popular you might be, your campaign will fall apart if you get that not so coveted Hillary Clinton endorsement. Let me tell you something, okay? That is exciting stuff. That is exciting stuff. Love to see it, folks. Bill Kristol endorsing Zohran Mamdani. Oh, yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Bill Kristol has become unimaginably woke. I don't think you guys have been paying attention to Bill Kristol. It's been very strange. And I hate to admit it, but if you look at Bill Kristol's takes, no, not Billy Crystal. No, the war criminal Bill Kristol has outflanked the Democratic Party on like 11 different visible points. I think he said stuff like abolish ICE. Like, he is out of control. No, Bill Kristol has been he's been on a tear. It's weird. I don't talk about it too much because he's like obviously a war criminal, but he's gotten so incredibly woke, it blows my mind, dude. I will keep it $150. If you were to tell me in like 2013 that Matt Taibbi would be against a socialist anti-corruption mayor and Bill Kristol would be for him, I'd be like, you're the dumbest person on the planet. Like, shut the fuck up. I'd be like, what are you talking about? Matt Taibbi? Matt Taibbi. You're telling me Matt fucking Taibbi, who is Mr. Goldman Sachs tentacles, like that Matt Taibbi would be against a socialist mayor in New York. Get the fuck out of here. Telling someone in 2010 that Bill Kristol is to the left of Glenn Greenwald and Matt Taibbi? No. Bill Kristol is not to the left of Glenn Greenwald. That's not true. Glenn Greenwald is insane on some issues, for sure. He has, once again, moderated under the Trump administration, as he did last time around. But he is not... Glenn Greenwald is not... or Bill Kristol is not to the left of Glenn Greenwald, bro. Come on. That's a dude who has made it his life's mission to consistently advocate against Israel, okay? There are so many things you can yell at him over. This is true. So many things you can yell at him over. But no, Glenn Greenwald is not. He don't got internet, okay? That's the way you got to look at it. Him or Norm Finkelstein definitely don't got internet. I mean, literally don't got internet. So I don't even want to talk about Norm Finkelstein. I know a lot of you have been like trying to tell me, you know, he did the Candace Owens podcast or some shit. I'm like, it's fine. Just let him. There was a couple days ago, he had a little slur moment too. It's like, let him do it. He's like 95. Okay. It's not for us. You just kind of gotta, it's not appropriate, but you know, you just kind of gotta let certain things slide. You know what I mean? You're just like, he's old. He's just 95. He's 95. He's 90. I need you to understand. He's 95 and he literally only has a landline. He is 95 and only has a landline. Okay. Matt Taibbi did the Collargate thing. Yeah, he's cooked, dude. Norm just says the N-word all the time. He can't be stopped. Wait, I wouldn't say all the time. Did he say it on the Adam Friedland show? Oh my God. He did? What is this guy? This guy got mad. Not you using Ebonics. That's crazy. Oh, because I say he don't got internet. It's a Young Thug tweet about James Harden when he was wearing the Blue Lives Matter bandana. Okay, that's just what you say. Hasanabi, I'm sorry, he can't mind his business. I'm joking. I know you're joking. I know. I seen him in person and went to shake his hand. He called me that and walked away. Okay, stop lying, dude. He doesn't just drop it. Oh my God, does he do that? No, stop. I don't know. I've never been around him like that. Norm isn't chill. I mean, he's like 900 years old. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to keep repeating this. He's a very old man who literally does not have internet. That's not even a joke in the Young Thug referencing James Harden type way. Like, he just literally doesn't have access to the internet. He only has a landline. That is true. That's not a joke. Anyway, all right, let's finish this thing. Goddamn.
A Mamdani-like candidate. And so they have to show a fight, and that's what this is about. The only reason they did it right now is because they're afraid of the rise of the far-left Marxists in their party, and they have to show them that they're going to fight. And real people are hurting during this political game, this showmanship.
Do you believe National Democrats are afraid of you and Schumer has not endorsed you?
I believe the National Democrats are holding the line right now to actually call the question on the Trump administration, which ran a presidential campaign on the premise of cheaper groceries and is now using the power that they won to make it even harder to afford those groceries. And to hear someone try and pin this on me when what we've actually seen is that Americans just want their health care, they just want to be able to afford their groceries, their day-to-day lives, it shows how out of touch the Republican Party is.
There's a clip.
Bro, even daggers Anderson's throwing his way turned into lobs for an alley-oop, okay? He's just, god damn, he's good.
View that's gone viral from 2023, just 2 years ago. You were speaking to Democratic Socialists of America. You talked about the importance of international solidarity, and this is what you said.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
And I think that for anyone to care about these issues, we have to make them hyperlocal. We have to make clear that when the boot of the NYPD is on your neck,
only interviewed him for less than 4 minutes and still managed to shoehorn a question related to Israel. Lol. That interview was edited like Jeffrey Epstein's prison video, blaming the government shutdown on a New York City mayoral candidate. Lol. This interview is so short, it feels like CNN felt obligated to do it. Looks like Anderson Cooper is less interested in Mamdani's answers, more interested in labeling him in a certain way. CNN is promoting the billionaires and Andrew Cuomo's agenda. Mamdani's great. Horrible interview by Cooper. Anderson Cooper AIPAC is fascinating. Any form of leadership in the U.S. appears to require loyalty to Israel. Nice try, CNN. So you had him on for 30 seconds to try and humiliate him. It's over. And no one cares about this last-minute hit job. Props to Mamdani for standing his ground. Absolute trash journalism. God damn. Oh, this is the end of the interview that was uploaded as a short? Okay.
it's been laced by the IDF. Right? We have to make, not specifically that example all the time, but just to say that for working class people who have very little time, who have so many stresses, who are under so many pressures, there isn't that much time for symbolism. We have to make it materially connected to their life.
Because it's true. Because it's literally true, by the way. And everyone I've seen, I mean, this is always, as it pertains to Israel, this is the meta, this is the method. But everyone just goes, oh, this is anti-Semitism. This is anti-Semitic, sweetie. And it's like, why are you saying that? Why are you saying that it's anti-Semitic? It's an objectively true thing that he is talking about. Okay? It's just so funny that, like, everyone, when you want to defend Israel and you know Israel's done a lot of fuck shit, you just only have one option, okay? Anti-Semitism. That's it.
What does that mean? That was just 2 years ago. What does that mean that the boots of the NYPD have been laced by the IDF?
It was a reference to training exercises that have taken place between the NYPD and the IDF, and I've spoken.
Yeah. And not only that, but also all local police departments, the ADL, an Israeli Knesset grant funded, well, the Canary mission is Israeli Knesset grant funded. I don't know if the ADL gets what kind of funding from Israel, but we do know it serves Israel. Okay, make no mistake. It is the Apartheid Defense League, has openly promoted that they have brought in a police chief from every single precinct in the United States of America to Israel to get counterterrorism and anti-Semitism, countering anti-Semitism training. Okay? Every single major precinct in this country has had a cop that has gone to Israel to get training. This is in the ADL's own documents. They promote it. They talk about it. They say, look how awesome this is. Go back, go find it. ADL's 2016 promotional material openly says that. I'll take it one step further. Yes, Superman knows a lot about this stuff. Have you not seen the latest Superman movie? Superman is very, very invested in what's going on in Jarampur and Moravia, okay? The Moravian genocide is top of mind. Anyway. Dude, And just like in the movie, I got a bunch of people typing super shit in the chat. Superman is woke. He's lame. He beats crypto's ass, bro. Superman abuses crypto. Why is nobody talking about super shit beating crypto's ass all the time? Where's crypto? Where's crypto? Super shit. Super woke. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. More than 1,000 senior U.S. police officers have visited Israel. Here's what they learned from Israel's police force and why it's controversial.
So do you still believe that the NYPD is basically working in hand in glove with the IDF?
No, what I've made very clear is those are training exercises that were a concern to me, and what my focus is on working with the NYPD to actually deliver public safety for New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs. And I've made the decision to retain Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch because of her record in being able to deliver that safety, reducing crime across the 5 boroughs.
That's new. Previously you wouldn't say that you wanted to retain her.
Dude, Anderson Cooper. What the bro, what the is this? Dude, this is so contentious, brother. This is crazy, brother. Zoil knows ball. What is this? Oh, shit. That's fire. That's fire. Bish, be quiet. This sleigh is too loud. Oh, my God. What a perfect, and I mean perfect cosplay for him. God damn.
Or you were saying point blank. I mean, she's helpful. Or she's done a remarkable job, it seems, lowering crime rates.
What I've said throughout the course of the campaign, I think since April, was that I would consider it because I think these decisions are very important. They're ones that you have to actually take your time with.
I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Real pleasure.
Do you have a positive or negative stance with Jessica Tisch? Very negative. Very, very negative.
Young.
She is the daughter of incredibly wealthy New York financiers. And also super pro-Israel, like unimaginably pro-Israel, and also just bad. She's bad at her job. I don't like her. I don't like her at all. I think that is probably, like, her family has given millions of dollars to the Andrew Cuomo super PAC Fix the City. Her family, yeah, the NYU's Tisch, the Tisch name is such an important name in New York. The NYU School of Arts is named after them. But also, listen, her family has given Andrew Cuomo millions of dollars to pump anti-Zohran ads, which include your boy and Zohran dabbing each other up with the title Google Hasan Piker 9/11. That's the super PAC that her family funded.
You have not run a government agency or run a city of, I mean, how many, there's what, 300 and something thousand employees in New York. What is your argument that this should all be handed over to you, that you know how to do this?
Look, I've been a state assembly member representing more than 100,000 people in Northwest Queens, and in that time I've secured $500 million in debt relief for taxi drivers. I've won the first free buses in New York City history. I stopped a frack gas
But
power
it's not
plant.
managing
No, but
all these city agencies.
I give you all of this as an example of my track record. And what I've built over the course of this campaign is a team that now oversees more than 90,000 volunteers. And the way in which you build a team is you hire the best and the brightest, and you ensure you don't just inspire people, you can absorb that inspiration into an infrastructure.
I've heard a lot of people running for office say that running the campaign, it's sort of similar to governing. And
Okay, I don't want to watch this shit. This is crazy. This sucks.
No one will ever replace my husband.
Okay, raw. Erica Kirk says JD Vance is amazing like Charlie Kirk. This clip is so crazy to me. Okay, there was some sus ass shit that took place at the Turning Point USA conference. We got to play it. I have to piss though. God damn it, I have to piss so bad, and it's gonna take a long ass time because. Here, watch this Zohran Mamdani video instead.
Zohran Mamdani, a man
before
who I
we
have to
get to
confess,
that.
just a few months ago I had never heard of.
Well, he's 33 years old. He's his prior job was as a state assemblyman in Albany. He's a Democratic socialist. He is a really skilled politician. I mean, he comes out smiling all the time. He presents this very positive vision for New York. And I think it's worth, before we go into his policies, just laying the context. His main opponents in this race for mayor were people who were
to use the technical term, horrible, absolutely horrible candidates. So you had Eric Adams, who's the current mayor of New York, who has been the subject of an alleged corruption scandal. You have Andrew Cuomo, the aging former governor, who just hasn't gotten the memo that his political career is over and clinging on to the limelight. And you have a New York population that's deeply fed up for the reasons that we've been discussing.
I love your polite but utterly devastating critiques of for the current mayor of New York and other contenders. It reminds me of the fantastic line in your cover leader this week, where you spoke very positively about Michael Bloomberg as the last good mayor the city had, but you said he has the charisma of a spreadsheet, which I thought was.
I'm a big fan of Michael Bloomberg, but
describing
charisma is not his
just
strong suit.
Before we hear more from and about Zohran Mamdani, can you just, point of clarification, tell me what a democratic socialist actually is, John?
Well, the Democratic Socialists of America are a very small group. Zohran Mamdani is one of their number. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is another. They, until pretty recently, had a platform that was really out there. They wanted to defund the police, get rid of the Senate, nationalize a lot of industries. In the intervening time, in the past couple of years, they've actually updated their platform. It's a little more mainstream now than it was. They've ditched some of the crazier stuff. But I think what it is mainly is a signaling device to say, we're fed up with centrist Democrats. We don't like Republicans. We're fed up with the same old centrist Democrats, Chuck Schumer, whoever, and we really want to change things. So I think it's more a kind of expressive thing, in a sense, a kind of identity badge. It's a way of being on the left and being an outsider in some, similar way politically to how Donald Trump was able to come to power, promising a whole bunch of stuff that people kind of knew he couldn't do. But the fact that he was so mad and was proposing such radical things demonstrated to the electorate that he really got it in a way that other people perhaps didn't.
So Zohran Mamdani is a democratic socialist. He's young and he's an extraordinarily good campaigner. Let's just have a look at one of his many brilliant TikTok videos.
I'm freezing. Your rent as the next mayor of New York City. Let's plunge into the details. More than 2 million New Yorkers live in rent-stabilized units, and their rents are set by the Rent Guidelines Board. The board is made up of 9 members, and the mayor appoints each one.
Ed, you've watched a number of these Mamdani TikTok videos and Instagram videos. What do you take away from it? Are we all going to be doing this kind of thing soon?
I tell you, I really like his energy and enthusiasm. I think it's a strong contrast with the kind of pessimism, America's a hellhole kind of version of change that Trump demands. I love the fact that his mum directed Salam Bombay, which is a fantastically good film. So there's lots to like about him, but I worry about his incredible lack of experience.
Why would you leave us with some centrist analysis of Zohran Mamdani? The reason why I did that is because I had to piss. Okay, there's no other reason really. Because I had to go pee and I had to take this whole thing off to go pee, and I knew it was going to take around 4 minutes, give or take. Normally when I take a piss, it takes around 1 minute, but because I have to do all of this stuff, some clips on topic.
Does anybody else think that?
Oh yeah. We'll do the JD Vance thing, but the other reason why I wanted to show you guys a bunch of centrist Brits was because, and this video is unavailable for some reason, it's not showing. The reason why I wanted to show you guys a bunch of centrist Brits is because, well, guess what? There's also a not so centrist Brit that your boy got interviewed by. Okay? Did you wash your hands? Yes, I did. And that, of course, is Zach Polanski, leader of the Greens, and your boy having a convo. And I wanted to show you some bits and pieces of it. Okay? Zach Polanski, for those of you who don't know, is the leader of the Greens, right?
You've heard it said.
And your boy had a 54-minute convo with him. Hasan Reaction is one of the best ones in the React channel.